Lance has coming to the line.
For the push, I don't know. This is going to be a photo finish.
Oh, Stone Colby taking the checkered flag to the inside. Who's it going to be? It's a photo finish. Give it to Brendan Burt. Conquers Watkins Glen. Gets turned across the line.
Thank you for joining us, folks. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's a pleasure. Four miles of racetrack, 14 corners, and in the MX-5, almost every bit of momentum you lose has to be earned back the hard way. Round 7 brings Apex Motor Club and West Coast Sim Racing to Road America. A circuit that has remained virtually unchanged since its inception in 1955 and still demands the same combination of bravery, precision, and patience today. This is a track tailor-made for MX-5 racing. The long straights will bring the draft into play. The heavy braking zones at turn 5 and Canada Corner will create opportunities to attack. And the high-speed run through the carousel and the kink will punish anyone who sacrifices momentum. Asking too much of the car and it could be your last. Road America's is round 7 tonight, and this is no longer about simply finding your footing in the championship. Every position carries more weight. Every mistake becomes harder to recover from. Drivers who want to be part of the fight at the end of the season need to start turning speed into results. At Road America, you can spend half a lap building a run on somebody, or lose it all with one missed apex. Round 7 is ready to go. This is Apex Motor Club and West Coast Sim Racing. MX-5 at Road America begins now. Welcome in, folks, to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, to Road America. Track in air, about 66 degrees Fahrenheit, not too shabby. We have a couple keys to the race for the drivers in the MX-5s is never give momentum away. Key number 2, using draft as a weapon, especially in the runs towards 1 and 5. Key number 3, get turn 5 in Canada Corner right, as they're the biggest braking opportunities on the circuit. Key number 4, respect the carousel, respect the kink as well. Take a look at the championship standings before we get too far into things. For the qualifying session, it will be Fletcher leading by 2 points in front of Brendan Birch, and then Nico Colby with 69 points. Nice in front of Slater Colby with 65 points. Josh Hunter in 5th, Connor Cunningham in 6th, Stone, Cantor, Rainey, and Fox round out the top 10. Warren Johnson, Darren Colby, Valderrama, McKelkey, Ferrer, Bolin, Yakin, and Kakdak round out the top 18. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you very much for being in here, Hayden Hinchcliffe. Appreciate the love and support for Jacob Bolland out there on the racetrack tonight, running in P13 currently. For Bond, not too shabby of a run for him so far. Can find some improvements on the evening as he is 5 seconds off the pace currently. So some improvements to be had, to say the least, but it's only just begun, as the song goes. It's only just begun. And track limits and draft playing a huge part in the way you get around this circuit. And the 43 looks to be executing it just as well as he possibly can. See who's out there to improve. It will be Lucas Barnett, a newcomer to the league, showing a couple of the green sectors in that 108 as he's sucked in with the rest of them. Barnett currently not having a time, sees his sights set on that 230.15. No purple sectors to his name. Gets to the line with a 233.2. Correction, 232.10. Good enough for the top 10 right now. Jason Holcomb, next driver to cross the line now with Jensen McKelkey in tow. Oh, number 41, up ahead behind none other than Josh Hunter in the number 81. McKelkey been a little bit off of his stride recently, hasn't had the best of results in the second half of this championship season. Hopefully he can turn that around. Same thing to be said for Nico Colby. The results just not going his way right now. Cantor, Colby, then Fletcher. Now 1, 2, 3 currently, but all that can change. And the last couple minutes of the qualifying session, pulling over is Nico Colby, letting the drivers all on their lead laps through. There is the 52 of Stone, cutting through like a knife already. Up ahead, it's Barnett in that 108 leading this pack of cars. You can see the trail of debris being left behind and then being cleared out also. Look at Connor Cunningham out to improve. Where does Cunningham fall at the end of the day? Nowhere. He falls nowhere. What about Brandon Birch? What can Birch produce right now? Looking to see what some of these drivers can do with the remaining 2 minutes of their qualifying session. Lap times coming in at 2:30, so this will be their last flying lap. Off goes the 22, Jeremy Fletcher, trying to get the best run out of the final corner. Squares himself up with a little bit of room behind Brandon Birch. Couple drivers calling it done for the qualifying session, but not for a few. On board with Fletcher now. Let's take a look at what he can do. Coming into the braking zone of turn 1, it's about 130 miles an hour before you slam onto the brakes coming through turn 1. Then you have the kink of turn 2, another heavy braking zone. It's more of a 90-degree corner than a kink. The real kinks begin as we head down towards turn 5. Out of turn number 2. Goes with the kink of turn 3, 4, and then down the hill towards turn number 5. It's one of Road America's most signature passing opportunities here. The cars arrive downhill after building runs on that long straightaway. Lots of runoff on corner exit there, and it's nice and paved as well for the drivers to use as much as they can. Getting yourself squared away before turn 6 is a little blind and tight. The hurry down, 7 and 8. This is where the circuit begins falling downhill again through the elevation change. It's turn 7 is nice and quick. The lap really asks drivers to reduce their speed before beginning one of the most important momentum sections on the entire lap. The carousel, turn 9 and 10, Road America's defining corner. It's a long, sustained right-hander where the front tires remain loaded and basically all the time throughout the corner. They stay gripped up. If you overdrive the entry, the front begins to wash out wide. If you get it right, you can carry that momentum towards the kink and all the way down towards Canada Corner. You get through the kettle bottoms in one piece, it's Canada Corner, turn 12 at your disposal. Into the heavy braking zone of turn 12. Another big overtaking opportunity, and Fletcher throws away the lap. And the airbag's going to be deployed for Fletcher as he ruins what was a seemingly good one. Jensen McKelkey, Jason Holcomb being the last two drivers to finish up the session now. We'll take a look at the results here in just a moment for the MX-5 Cup, presented by West Coast Sim Racing and Apex Motor Club. Let's take a look at our starting grid, shall we, folks? It'll be Luke Cantor and Stone Colby on that first row. Then starting on the second, it's going to be Jeremy Fletcher and Stone Colby. After that, it's going to be none other than Brandon Birch and Joe Rainey. After Rainey, it'll be Lincoln Fox and Nico Colby. Row number 5 belongs to Warren Johnson and Josh Hunter. After Hunter, it will be Lucas Barnett, the newcomer, and Darren Colby. Jensen McKelkey and Jason Holcomb follow that. And then we have Jacob Bolland and Connor T. Cunningham. Following Cunningham, it will be Diego Valderrama and Virgil Kakdak. Last but not least is going to be Thomas Divley in the red, white, and blue. Our good friend Barney, the flag man, watching on the drivers. Drivers getting ready to do their formation lap here. And weaving and warming up their tires is critical. One of the important things to note about this week's return of Jeremy Fletcher is that he said he is back home, so he'll be back home in his home rig and hopefully using his home internet again, so we'll not be faced with the same disconnect issues that we've had in the last 4 for 4 with Fletcher. And we get ready around Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, folks. And this is going to be a great race tonight. One of my favorite tracks of all time. 4 miles of pure flat out racing. Ready to go racing. Luke Cantor and Stone Colby on the first row. Coming down the front stretch, side by side. It'll be a drag all the way down towards turn one. Who's got the better push there across the line? The drivers all squared up 2 by 2. No one really jostling for a position. Now the Colbys are as the green flag waves from Barney in the background. Drivers go wheel to wheel all the way through turn one. Keep it nice and tidy. It will be Slater, will be Stone, then Luke Cantor in the background. Slater working his way all the way up 3 positions in the number 25. Not too shabby of a run so far for him. Jeremy Fletcher can't do the same. He's far down the order and losing one more potentially to the 17 of Joe Rainey. In the number 17 Rainey Holmes machine coming down the backstretch into the braking zone of turn 5. This is where races can be made or lost. And speaking of lost, Warren Johnson makes up a ton of ground around the outside of just about everybody there. Carries all that speed and momentum. I thought he was braking in the grass, but it was just a little bit of dirt kicked up. But all those positions he just made up one more time. Great battles up and down the grid, including this one here with Connor Cunningham, one of the inaugural podium comers from Monday. Not having his work easily cut out for him tonight. He's down in 15th position, but having fun nonetheless. Chopping it up with Virgil Cactac through the kettle bottoms. They go wheel to wheel into the braking zone of Canada. Whoa! It'll be Connor T. Cunningham to the inside line on Virgil Cactac, but the move's not done just yet. The ALS badge machine and the Dude Wipes machine, no, come together with Brandon Birch, the number 36, who has crashed on the exit of Canada, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Well, it's a different race without the Colbys. It's a different race with the Colbys, as now we have the Colby train back in tow. The Quattro in the lead. Slater, Nico, Stone, then Jeremy Fletcher trails behind, but I doubt that'll be the case for very long as the field become a little bit more spread out than not. Fletcher, Colby, Cantor. All 4 drivers trailing each other. Let's take a look overhead now as Fletcher tries to find P1. We know what he wants to do. He says it out loud time and time again. Wants to get out in front, wants to control the pack battle. Will it be enough? Now the Quattro becomes a wolf pack of 5 because look who it is. Nico Colby has joined the ranks. All the battling that has been brewing up until this point keeps continuing to breed more battling. In the background, we can see Lincoln Fox trying to gain ground and get in touch with this battle, but he's a little far down the order for the moment. We'll keep in touch and see what happens. Jeremy Fletcher fighting for the lead here. With the number 52 of Stone Colby, they go wheel to wheel. Can he go all the way? The JFR machine gets pushed out to the wide space of turn one, but maintains on the black stuff. That's right where he wants to be. All the way through three. It'll be a drag 2x2 plus one of Nico Colby in the background. What a great shot of the gopher cam there. The grass getting kicked up. 45 minutes on the clock. One competition caution. One opportunity. Jeremy Fletcher with a lick of the stamp and ascend. Gets touched in the rumpus from the number 18. And we go three abreast. Going up the hill into turn 6. The 22 maintains ground. And P2 is still Jeremy Fletcher's. Little slip up in the background. Nico Colby takes advantage of the 18's mistake. Luke Cantor went a little wide at turn 6, and that opened the door for Colby to get up into the podium. 5 positions up for him. Slater Colby, right where he started this race in P4, was leading the race at one point in time. Only 3 laps into this race, folks. The timeline graphs looks a little bit funky there. My apologies. Forget we have a 2.5-minute lap here. This is basically the Spa-Francorchamps of North America, and there it is. The spin from the 25 and the 18 coming through the kink that had to be respected, and then it was challenged, and that's where mistakes will be made, folks. Jeremy Fletcher not in the lead of this one. Not by a long shot, as there goes Nico Colby trying to challenge him for position right now. And we'll have to see how this party ends up faring out tonight for the field. Because look at that. It will be Lincoln Fox in P4 right now. Looking not too shabby on the racetrack, as he did perform very well the last time we were running. all the way to the top spot for Jeremy Fletcher. And then the Colbys are left to duke it out for the remaining pieces. Lincoln Fox in tow. Wants a piece of the pie, but 3 positions gained ain't too shabby today. Looking on board with Fox forward as we stare at the rear end of Jeremy Fletcher. Look at Lucas Barnett. Holy Toledo, what a champion tonight. 6 positions gained, but look at the battle for the lead. Goes 3 wide with 16, the 22, and the 52. 2 Colbys and a Fletcher. And 1 corner, not a YouTube video that I want to watch. Or maybe that is why my YouTube shorts haven't gone well, is we need to make shorts like that. 2 Colbys, 1 Fletcher, 1 corner. Something like that. Make it happen, folks. 22 and the 16 wheel to wheel. Jeremy Fletcher and Nico Colby, no strangers at enjoying each other's company on the racetrack. Here and now, they celebrate each other's competitiveness by going wheel to wheel and putting all each other's faith in the other's hands. There goes the 52 with a little push, trying to help his brother out. All the way to the top spot goes Nico Colby, but Jeremy Fletcher cannot retort on this occasion. Tries to in the background. Stone Colby and Josh Hunter, what are you doing here? Josh Hunter has gained 6 positions in his own right as well. Climbing up to P4, has surpassed Lucas Barnett and Lincoln Fox for P5 and P6. I knew this was going to be an amazing race. I didn't think it was going to be this good, folks. Looking at Josh Hunter right now to the inside on the number 52, but no dice to be had this time around. This track is so big, fast, and flowy. The draft is extremely powerful. Stepping out of it, though, is the number 81, Josh Hunter. Slips in front of Stone Colby as the driver's up ahead. Check up. Now slip in front of Josh Hunter. Give a little bit of block into the braking zone of turn 5. Hunter lets off the accelerator, rolls off the brakes, tries to get it to the apex in time, but the kitty litter is there on the racetrack off the racing line. That gives the traction over to the 52. The battle between the 12, 22, and the 16. Reid is on for the lead right now. Best seat in the house right now of the racing action between Jeremy Fletcher and Nico Colby. There's a touch into the derriere of the 16. I don't think Nico Colby consented to that one. There goes the 15 and the Obsession Vehicles machine. Excuse me, the OverstockVehicles.com machine. And it goes forward. Stone Colby, Nico Colby, Josh Hunter, Lucas Barnett. Burger King, have it your way. The 108 says, and perhaps he shall. Hunter with a big push into the rear end of the 22. Look at how powerful the draft is, folks, absolutely insane pushes in these MX-5 Mazda Cups. And the push all the way out to the end of the racetrack, and look at the gaggle that is now formed from all the battles that have brewed. This includes Warren Johnson, Lincoln Fox, Jensen McKelkey, Lucas Barnett, everybody under this blanket now. Zero to zero in a blink of an eye. Nico Colby falls back to P4 on this battle. Josh Hunter has been catching up to the rest of the field, but the time delta keeps changing as the positions keep changing as well. Josh Hunter getting a lick of the stamp from Barnett behind. Beautiful blimp cam here, and a little bit of overlap there from Nico Colby to Lucas Barnett. Might slow him down a little bit. And that's Jensen McKelkey behind him with Warren Johnson and Lincoln Fox in tow. So a little bit of a gap forming from the overhead camera. Lucas Barnett needs to pick up the pace and quit being a cork in a bottle if he wants to deal with the likes of these guys up front, Jeremy Fletcher and Nico Colby in the head of the race. The spearheads, I should say, as they're punching a big hole in the air for the rest of the field. The 52 steps out of line. Stone Colby and Jeremy Fletcher into Canada corner. Round the outside goes the 52, but again, not this time. It can't work every time. It does work this time, though, in front of Jeremy Fletcher. Gets slotted in because now he's dealing with Josh Hunter. Hunter trying to go around the outside throughout the final corner. That one's not going to work out his way. You know whose way it is going to work? It's going to be the rear end, though, of Josh Hunter. And because that's going to be Lucas Barnett giving a little bit of help there in his Mazda MX-5, the Burger King 108. A little bit of a push, and then steps out of line. I feel like this is 3 wide. It is 3 wide coming down the front stretch. As you can hear the cars around Josh Hunter. There's Barnett to the left and the 52 of Stone to the right. Fletcher, Hunter, Barnett, Colby, McKelkey, everybody trying to find a little bit of real estate here tonight at West Coast Sim Racing and Apex Motor Club's MX-5 Fight Night. 3 abreast up ahead. Fletcher got in the middle of that sandwich for a moment, goes outside, and takes a little bit of grass that the kids are always talking about these days. And Fletcher and Stone, Jensen McKelkey in 5th position. And we have Lucas Barnett, Lincoln Fox, and Warren Johnson, Joe Rainey. 4 seconds back from this pack, but the competition caution will settle that one in a few moments' time. Josh Hunter up in front, getting challenged by Nico Colby, the 16. Hunter trying to find the outside line at Canada. Gets a couple of cars diving down to his inside. Nico, Jeremy, and Stone all take advantage of that open door. McKelkey and Barnett wheel to wheel through the final pair of corners. And they settle down coming into the final corner. It will be the 1441 of McKelkey to trail. A couple of track cuts here. It will be Fletcher and Colby with a couple of track limits violations. They'll have to give some time back strategically, but the pushes down the front straight will not help them give that time back. Time penalties are now cleared. On board with McKelkey, and I think that is the competition caution being called as the drivers seem to have simmered down a little bit. Or perhaps no competition caution as the drivers wait up for each other. And we'll just do a single file restart here. And we're going to get ready to go racing here in just a few moments, folks. Let's get your predictions in chat. Who's going to come out on top and who's going to be best of the rest? Ready to take the green flag in just a few moments' time. Fletcher and Colby on that first row. Green, 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 and the drivers are ready to take off. Coming down the front stretch The drivers start to fan out a little bit. Joe Rainey with a little poke and peek there in the background. Keep your eye on him. That number 17 is a little cheeky one sometimes, and he can find his way up into the top 3 before the end of this one. Joe Rainey from Rainey Homes looks to the inside line, coming down into the 3 and 4. No doing there. He only finds the 1 position. It's up to 7th for Joe Rainey. Jeremy Fletcher, holy Toledo, that's a big one, leaving a couple of Mazda MX-5s. Less than showroom ready, to say the least. Josh Hunter out of this one. Up ahead, Jensen McKelkey and Jeremy Fletcher now battle for the lead. We'll get a replay of what happened earlier to Barnett and Stone Colby. That definitely isn't the way that they wanted that battle to conclude. Fletcher in the lead of this one. Nico Colby recovers up to P2. Let's see who can do a thing or two on the here and now when it matters most. When the pack is all grouped up like this, positions can be lost and won very easily. Looking from experience, Joe Rainey finds his way up to P3. On the outside line, defending McKelkey back, gives him a little pincheroo, runs out wide to the kitty litter, but it's only 1 wheel off, so no track limits there. 17 falls in line behind the 16, gives a little push and shove forward. The momentum and the speed definitely there for Joe Rainey. This is the rear view from Rainey back to Fletcher and Slater. Bumping uglies there on the run down the hill into the braking zone of the 3rd corner. Fletcher up ahead of Slater for now. It's 25 tries to get a switch back on the JFR machine. Number 22, but it's no doing yet. Fletcher in a good spot right now, half a second back from Colby, getting help from Rainey rather than it hurting him. Jensen McKelkey, however, in a little bit of trouble as he tussles behind with Luke Cantor in that 18. Up ahead, Fletcher now in trouble. Has 2 Colbys to contend with, and so does Joe Rainey. Slater works his way into the lead of this one, but the outside line for the following corner is not where you want to be, especially with a man like Jeremy Fletcher that's going to consume all of the racetrack that he's bought and paid for here on the iRacing platform. Three abreast behind the 22 and the 25, but the 16 pokes out in front, and on exit will get alongside his brother in the 25. Jeremy Fletcher is there in front, leading them through the field as he cuts through the air like a knife. And Joe Rainey's in a little bit of trouble as he goes off the racetrack in the background, and P6 is where he'll recover to. Not a bad battle for first place right now. Here comes the 25 of Slater Colby, all the way down through Kettle Bottoms to the inside. Jeremy Fletcher defends. The 25 to the outside line. Doesn't work out this way for Jeremy Fletcher. Doesn't work out this way for Slater Colby. I think neither driver gets the advantage that they were looking for on their run to the penultimate corner. Out of the final one, though, the drivers will all sit single file line. Wheel to wheel all the way through turn one, down the hill through turn two and into turn three. The young Slater Colby, number 25, tries to get things done with Jeremy Fletcher at his side. Nico gets involved now and helps out his Copeland Motorsports teammate, but look at that. It's the number 48 of Lincoln Fox. Lincoln Fox now in the mix. A big wiggle there for the 16 up ahead. He loses out a ton of ground to the 22 in the lead of this one. Sixteen to the inside line at the carousel. That's a bit of a tricky spot to make one work, but he might go a little bit wide on exit, but that sets him up for the outside line coming into the kink. Oh my goodness, this is going to be one of the most dangerous parts of the track where the drivers are completely flat out, but they get through with relative ease. The 48's off. Just as I say that, it will be a big one for Jeremy Fletcher. Let's see what happens here to Fletcher. Was it a touch or did he lose out all on his own? They come together at the kink. A couple drivers end up going off. That's going to be Lincoln Fox and I'm not sure about that one, folks. Best to leave that one to the stewards, but here's Joe Rainey finding a podium now, and now he's tumbling down the order as he's trying to avoid the interview with me. Birch recovers to P3. McKelkey up 10 positions in third. Birch there to the inside with a brief downshift into turn number 5. And it will be Brendan Birch able to defend back the likes of Jensen McKelkey in the number 41, Lincoln Fox. Trying to find another podium, and hopefully this time find his way to the interview room as well. Stone Colby dukes it out with Diego Valderrama into the braking zone in the penultimate corner before the carousel. They went wheel to wheel, and now it'll be the 52 to deal with the likes of the 502 of Connor T. Cunningham. Round the outside at the carousel might work one time, but twice in a row, I'm not so sure. Works out there, then this might be the one time it does work, because into the kink will stay single file line. Up ahead, Birch and Jensen McKelkey into the braking zone of Canada Corner. Jensen McKelkey up ahead in front of Birch with 11 positions gained. Birch not trying to lose any more tonight. And it looks like we will get this one plus one more. It will be close, but at the end of the day, it's up to Luke Cantor. Luke Cantor, Jensen McKelkey, then Brendan Birch. Lincoln Fox and Nico Colby wheel to wheel, and then Nico's going to give a push to Birch into the braking zone, pushing Birch forward, opens up a little bit of room for Nico to accelerate on exit. Now the side-by-side continues. Birch blocks off Lincoln Fox. Picks his decisive racing line there. Lincoln Fox might not have any overlap and has to slot back in. Speaking of slotting in, Jensen McKelkey and Luke Cantor are doing no such thing as they get through 7 and 8 side by side. It will be all the way down to turn 9, the carousel, before they settle things single file between the duo. Whoa, big push there into the 41, who slingshots his way into the front. Now it'll be Birch. Now it'll be Cantor. Lincoln Fox. Wheel to wheel all the way down to the final countdown. Will we get that coveted bonus lap, or will this be it? Just by a second, we'll get a bonus lap, folks. And look at the gaggle of cars all fighting for the win tonight. It went to Birch, now Colby, now McKelkey trickles back to third. Joe Rainey just outside the podium. Just by a few seconds will we get a bonus lap, and Jensen McKelkey is going to make the most of it. Over the last few laps we go. Love this camera angle here. Look at Lincoln Fox's momentum. Tries to get around Jensen, but the block was on from all the way in front from Rainey. Rainey dips a couple wheels off into the gravel. He loses ground before we get down to the most important part of the track, the carousel. Birch challenging, Nico Colby challenging, McKelkey too far back to challenge. What a recovery drive this would be from Brandon Birch tonight. Oh no, big moment there. And I think that was Joe Rainey spun around. It was Joe Rainey. And he picks up Valderrama. Birch in front, Holcomb out of the race. Coming down the hill in towards turn 5. Birch is going to be there first. Nico Colby trailing behind. And then we have Jensen McKelkey. One minute left on the clock. Here we go. Through the kink into kettle bottoms for the final time, folks. What a push from long way back. It's Nico Colby, the menace. 3 abreast on exit of Canada corner. Could he ask for a better finish than this? Brandon Birch out in front. Then we have Stone, Slater, and Nico. Luke Cantor follows behind. And that will be it for MX-5 Fight Night. Take a look at the results there. Brandon Burch led us for 2 laps, and obviously the one that mattered the most at the end, Stone Colby, was just 8 thousandths back. Luke Cantor 7/10ths back, and Connor Cunningham gets the Hard Charger Award with 10 positions gained. Jens McKelkey in 4th, Lincoln Fox in 5th, Connor Cunningham, Nico Colby, Slater Colby, Warren Johnson, Jeremy Fletcher, Darren Colby, Lucas Barnett, Joe Rainey, Jacob Vaughn, Virgil Kakdak, Jason Holcomb, Diego Valderrama, Josh Hunter, and Thomas Dibley round out the 19 participants tonight. Let's go ahead and talk to the drivers here in just a second. And we'll go ahead and start out with none other than Luke Cantor. Luke, going into the last couple of laps, you were leading us in that number 18. Is that the position you wanted to be in, or is that just the way the cookie crumbled at the end of the night?
I guess it's just the way the cookie crumbled. I don't know. I was happy to be out front, but I knew that with the slip and the bump drafting, anything could happen. So I don't know. That's just the way that the race ended up going.
Yeah, it's always a double-edged sword being out in front with the last couple laps, especially at a track like this where the draft was so important. You know, you really had to use it as a weapon tonight. How'd you feel like the draft was able to help you kind of stay in touch over the last few laps?
Well, I was definitely trying to keep up with the pack in front and like stay in their slip, just not make any mistakes. And I think it definitely helped. And I was able to finish P3. Probably should have finished P5 if it wasn't for that crash ahead. But yeah, I was just trying to stay with the pack ahead always. Yeah, no matter what happened.
It worked out well for you, and a good haul of points being the podium this evening. Who would you like to shout out, and who would you like to thank here from Elkhart Lake for Sargento Cheese? We're the real cheese people.
You for doing the broadcast, and everyone for coming out to the race.
Right on. And thank you very much to our title sponsor tonight, Sargento Cheese, because our family passion, of course, is cheese. Thank you, Luke Cantor, for supporting West Coast Sim Racing. Have a great night and stay safe out there tonight.
You too.
Make sure you grab yourself some Sargento Cheese, the proud sponsor of the Wisconsin track for which we race. And we'll move swiftly on to Stone Colby. How's your cut of cheese tonight? Didn't lose anything, but you didn't gain anything either. The 52 claims P2 tonight.
Yeah, no, that was I was pretty solid up front for a while before the caution, and then right on the restart, there was that big pile up coming out of turn 2 or 3, believe, before the straight, and I funneled all the way back to I think like 17th or 18th out of the draft. But if it was any other track, I would not be sitting in P2 right now, just because of the draft and how they were fighting, side by side. I think it was side by side all the way to about 12th or 15th place. So, no, I mean, I'm pleased to come out with a second place. And yeah, it was a tough one. I just had to log consistent laps. So, but it was fun.
It definitely looked like a grueling race because at no point in time was anybody really getting a break in the action, right? There was, like you said, side by side, 1st through 10th for a majority of the first half of the race start there. And then obviously we have our slow down or competition caution, which bunches up the field again. And the battles just continued from then on out. When do you catch a break here? Because I thought the one place people wouldn't go for moves would be the carousel, but even there, drivers are going for moves. So talk to us about that opportunity there at the carousel.
Carousel it was really one line. If your front left tire kind of went out a little bit out of the main line, there was zero grip. Or if you try to push in too deep, on the throttle before you lift, the front's pushing. I mean, we played with some setups and everything was pretty pushy through that corner, so there was really no setting up around that corner. But yeah, you kind of just take advantage, you kind of go out and then in with a lift in the middle. But if somebody kind of screws that up, it's kind of, you can kind of undercut them and go to the inside. But definitely going side by side through the kink is not ideal. So you definitely want to make the pass there. But it definitely made some I don't think I passed anybody there, but I feel like I passed people in about every other corner.
It was amazing to see passes made at the kink, going into Canada, obviously, turn 5 being a hot spot. But I knew Elkhart Lake was going to provide us with a lot of good action. I didn't know the MX-5s are going to breed this much. So thank you guys for providing us with some amazing coverage this evening. Who would you like to shout out and who would you like to thank, Stone, here on the podium from Wisconsin?
You for broadcasting as always, Warren for putting on the league, everybody showing out and racing with us. It was a fun, good amount of field tonight for this track. This track's always a lot of fun, and vehicle buyers and friends and family for watching.
Thank you very much, Stone, for your support here at West Coast Sim Racing. Appreciate you as always. Have a good night and stay safe out there.
You too.
Last but not least, we'll talk to Mr. Birch. Well, Mr. Birch is his father. We're talking to Brandon Birch, of course, the number 36 pilot from vehiclebuyers.com. Had a bit of a slippery start there, but able to recover to the top spot by the end of it. Brandon Birch, how are you able to stave off some of the heavy hitters this evening?
Yeah, I mean, it's all draft for sure. I know at the beginning of the race, I had a couple crashes, left me in the back, and it's hard to make up time on that track for sure. So you're kind of stuck where you're at. And then obviously the restart helps that quite a bit. So I was just trying to capitalize on the restart, and a couple guys got screwed up. I know Stone got in some stuff, and a little bit of everybody. And like Stone was saying too, everybody was too wide pretty much the entire track. So it allowed me to make a couple passes in certain spots, and then just kind of tuck in. And Nico and I were sitting behind Jensen and Luke for a while. I really did not want to be in the lead on the last lap until we got a little bit of a gap. So it ended up working out. I mean, it's unfortunate for Nico and Slater that they got into each other on the right before the finish line, but it's cool that Stone was able to come back from the back after the yellow crashing and coming back. Is pretty tough to do. So that's cool stuff.
It really is, and it's one of the things that I'll always commend West Coast Sim Racing on is the execution of, the slowdown or the caution. I think everybody's wanted it. Seldom has it been implemented correctly. And I think this is just a really good point of note to say that the league does something right. It's really great to see the field just bunch up and get back out there ready to go, green flag running all at the same time. And, everybody knows what the rules are, no bobbing, no poking, no peeking before the line there or before the green flag. And everybody follows the rules, and it's just amazing. So hats off to all the drivers. Hats off to you and the win tonight. The championship is looking pretty good as Jeremy Fletcher didn't have a great haul of points tonight. The championship was separated by 2, and now it's going to be separated by a bit more than that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, it'll end up how it ends up. I mean, we're all really just here to have a good time, and I mean, we all help each other out quite a bit. So, and we've been doing a little bit of practice on this track. I know Stone and Nico are going out to. We're all going to Road America here in a couple of weeks, so it'll be cool to do that in real life.
Brandon Birch, I was expecting a little bit more from you, like. We play for keeps out here at West Coast Sim Racing, man. Come on now.
I mean, of course. I mean, you can always take people out. That's not what I'm interested in. I always try to stay as clean as possible. So, like I said, that's where we end up. We'll try the strategy game, and I mean, it's tough because there's no fuel strategy or anything on here. So we'll, it's just all about the draft and bumping the right guys and being at the right spot at the right time. So obviously, hopefully, we end up with the win. But no matter what, it's fun just racing with these guys.
I couldn't agree with you more. I wish it's always a thing, broadcaster, driver, which one do you pick? And, I rolled the dice on this one and ended up behind the mic, but boy, oh boy, do I wish I could enjoy the grid with you guys sometimes. But who would you like to thank and who would you like to shout out here in Victory Lane from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin?
Yeah, vehiclebuyers.com, you for the stream, Warren for the league, JFR Esports, and everybody always on here watching. It's always a good time.
Thank you so much, Birch. Really appreciate you. Have a great night and stay safe out there, brother.
See ya.
Last but not least, we'll talk to the pilot of the 124, our fearless leader and commandant, Warren Johnson. How you doing out there, Warren?
Sir, doing great. How are you?
Living the dream. I mean, like I was telling the boys, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Road America being one of my favorite tracks of all time, usually in something faster, P2, P3, a GT3 car. Wasn't sure what to expect with the MX-5s, but I knew something was up your sleeve when this came on the calendar. So very pleasantly surprised with the amount of action and the close battling on track. Again, like everybody said, the draft playing a huge part in the conversation.
Yeah, this track has been great to this league. We always have some really, really good action here. So this is one of my personal favorite tracks as well. And I got some family up in Wisconsin, so this place holds some sentimental value also to me. So yeah, I love this track. Hopefully I'm able to get out there to watch Nico and Stone and all those guys race out there. If not, we'll get them on the next one. And but yeah, that was a great race. I love racing here. And these cars offer a great time here. The rest of the season's looking really, really awesome too for Mazdas. We got Barber coming up after that. Barber Motorsports Park is a great track. Then one of my personal favorites, or my favorite track, Watkins Glen. And we got another banger, Road Atlanta, another banger, Laguna Seca, and then a big finale with Daytona. So that's going to be a crazy one with that huge track with all the draft. It's going to be super, super exciting there for the finale. The rest of the season for all the series is just going to be awesome. Road Atlanta next week for GRs, then Watkins, then Sonoma, then Charlotte, and CTMP, which is one of the best tracks. That's a great rest of that schedule. Spa tomorrow for the GT3 cars. That's always a classic track. Going to be a good one. Then we got, let's see what's after that. Monza for the F4s. That's going to be cool. Then Sebring in the GT3s, and then Long Beach in the F4s for that finale. Just a great schedule the rest of the time here. So yeah, can't wait to get out there and race some more with these guys. It was a great time. Thanks all for watching. Thank you for broadcasting, all the drivers. Thank you guys for racing with us week in and week out. It's just really good group of guys. We're getting some great new additions to the league too, and we're happy to have them all here. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Absolutely. Hopefully we have 19 plus drivers just like we had tonight, Warren. Have a great night and stay safe out there, brother.
You as well. See ya.
On behalf of West Coast Sim Racing, on behalf of AK Esports, I want to extend my gratitude and say thank you very much, everybody, for joining us tonight live in the YouTube chat. Really appreciate you joining us and coming to hang out. I've been your host, Auger Bakshi, taking you from green to checkered flag as always. But all good things have to come to an end, and so shall this, folks. On behalf of AK Esports and West Coast Sim Racing, have a great night, and most importantly, make sure you stay safe out there. Goodbye for now.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't